Welcome, my fellow freedom fighters, to another episode of Teletran Creatorverse. I am your host, Alfonso Peterman. Welcome to another episode of this newly launched, creator-focused, late-night styled interview series. Good to have you guys here. I hope all is well with everybody, of course. We're actually shooting this segment on the weekend. And I know you all will probably likely be watching on the weekend as I release these, so I hope you all are ready to sit back and enjoy. My guest tonight is among the first and most admired Transformers YouTubers in the community. His honest, detailed, informational, and insightful reviews have served and inspired literally millions of fans all over the world, myself included. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome Paul, also known as Optibotimus. How you doing, my good sir?
Oh, I am doing well. That introduction probably just made my head grow about 3 sizes bigger than I'm used to. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit through the doors around my place for the rest of the day, at least.
Yeah, like those Airhead commercials where they eat the thing and then it just explodes.
It's literally what just happened. You guys witnessed.
Well, I know you've been doing a lot of live streams and reviews. How's life treating you over there in Anaheim? Have you been able to resume to life as usual?
You know, it's been a crazy, I just gotta say, it's been a crazy year that all of us have been in. Things are slowly getting back to normal around here. It's interesting to see because the normal that we've had, I don't even have any here with me. The normal that we've had for the past year is everybody walking around with a mask and all that kind of stuff. And it's now you see somebody not wearing a mask and you kind of look at them a little bit funny.
Do you give them that
And
gaze, that like
yeah, like what you doing? Why you not wearing a mask? What's
have you been
happening?
here the past year?
Like you're walking around like
Yeah, like that.
what up, buddy? So I mean, it's been crazy. It's crazy. I love the fact that things are slowly, especially here in Anaheim. People that don't know, Anaheim is the home of Disneyland, and the economy in Southern California, Anaheim, is powered by Disney.
Yeah.
So that has made so many businesses, so many restaurants, hotels, all this stuff just be paused, go on hold. Everybody's life gets turned upside down. And I think it's the end of this month that Disney is opening. So it's been going better. Um, that's about it. I mean, we're still here. You know, the people that are still here, we're still here, and a lot of people aren't still here with us anymore. So to make it this far feels good.
Now you've started YouTube back in 2007, the same year of the initial Transformers live action film release. Now some of your very first videos are of the Michael Bay live action movie figures like Jazz, Scorponok, Autobot, Ratchet. My question is, how much of an influence has the 2007 film had on your desire to begin creating?
It was entirely dictated by that. So I've been a Transformer fan my entire life, all the way back to G1. I'm 42 years old, so I was there when G1. You're a young pup.
Oh
So
goodness.
I've gotten every incarnation of Transformers in my lifetime. And as I got older, you kind of get away from Transformers. It wasn't the most popular thing as you become an adult and stuff. And times have really changed in terms of it used to be when I was a kid, if you were called a nerd or a geek, it was degrading. It was an insult to you. It was
Yeah.
meant to make fun of you. Now, if you don't know what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, people look at you funny. And back when I was a kid, if you knew who Iron Man was, you were looked at funny. But now if you don't know who he is, you're looked at funny.
The tables
So
have turned.
yeah, yeah. The first figure that I bought was, and I saw it, the Transformer toys were out. First one that I bought was Ironhide, the 2007 Voyager class Ironhide. It's the first one that I did. So I bought it, went back to the hotel, and I couldn't figure out how to transform the damn thing. And I mean, my Transformers were you fold, you flip, you do this, and you're done. So I couldn't figure out how to transform it, and it came in vehicle mode. I went on YouTube and found his name was Matrix Prime, OG. He had done the review of it, and I figured out how to transform it into a robot. And I said, "Oh, cool. How do I transform it back to a robot or back to a truck now?" So I was like, I'm bored. There was some personal stuff going on in my life. I had taken time off of work just to get healthy, and I was literally bored sitting in my living room. And I was like, I can do this just for fun. So I did the video of it, and I showed both transformations, showed how to transform one way, transform back way, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so I mean, the whole Michael Bay franchise is what literally inspired me to do all of my YouTube stuff.
That's good. That's good.
It was something fun to do.
Yeah, I agree. Now, starting out, what was your initial intentions? You sort of answered it with wanting to do the conversions, wanting to make sure you demonstrate both. But what were your initial intentions that you wanted to achieve when you started? And did you ever foresee your channel growing to the level that it did?
No, it was never something. I remember some of you guys out there might remember a reviewer. He still does videos to this day. He's still a friend of mine. JT Mitchell 87. We have been friends since way back then, and it was always kind of funny because we used to go back and forth. Like, do you think we're ever going to get like 1,000 subscribers? No, that's never gonna happen.
Wow.
Then it happens, and you're like, do you think we're ever going to get to 5,000? Like, no. Then it happens, and it just keeps going on. And now it's to the point I'm at like over 300,000, and I'm seeing a lot of other people. And I love the fact that I see this happening because it means that the toy community in general is really strong. But I'm seeing some people that are at like the 600,000 mark, which means at some point in time somebody's going to hit 1 million subscribers, and they're one of my friends type of thing. So I never in a million years thought it would get like this.
My question would be, what are some of the biggest lessons or challenges that you learn from throughout your career that could be passed down to upcoming reviewers in the future in the community?
There was, and I'm still not that good at it. There is, and I know this is going to kind of segue into another question I know that you wanted to ask. There is a level of competition that exists. I think it's just a natural human nature kind of thing. When you're doing stuff and somebody else is doing kind of the same thing as you kind of look and you compare. And it's taken me a very long time and I'm still not that great at it. It's something that is a constant battle to do. But, and I remember this, I don't remember who said it, but I remember that when it comes to life, the journey is long, but at the end of the day, you're only battling yourself. And the best way to look at it is don't worry about what other people do. Worry about what you do. That's what you can control. You can't control what anybody else says. You can't control what anybody else does. And that's really the best advice that I could give to anybody.
That's good.
To not compare yourself. Don't compare yourself. Compare yourself to yourself. That's really it. As long as you're better than who you were the day before. This above all, to thine own self be true. Shakespeare.
All right. I love it.
Look at me.
I'm going to toast to that right there. There you go.
Philosophical shit. I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of the things I've said a few times that, because, when you get a lot of appreciation from fans and they always say you're the best, and I'm always kind of very hesitant with, accepting that. I would like to only be the best version of myself, not be better than anybody else. So
Amen. There you go.
it segues exactly into what you're saying. Now, one thing I noticed about you is how many figures you cover, from Transformers to Ninja Turtles, Marvel, Masters of the Universe, Ghostbusters. Do you only review franchises that you personally like, or have you ever felt pressure to review something you didn't care for? How do you decide what gets reviewed and what doesn't?
It literally is what I have a passion for. That goes along a long way with what I believe in terms of if you're going to be a reviewer, you have to be passionate about it. There have been a lot of times that people have asked me, companies have asked me, can you review this? Can you review this? And I turn them down because I don't know anything about Halo, for
Right.
example, a video game. People have asked me like, we want you to review Master Chief, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. So I can't in good conscience, it's me. It's the principle of things. I mean, I can't sit there and get on camera and talk about how great something is if I don't have anything to compare it to in my
Right.
mind. I can't sit there and say this is the greatest representation of Master Chief that I've ever seen in my life because I've never seen Master Chief before in my life. So I can't, I mean, and I've had, there've been a lot of companies. There's one, I can't tell you, I can tell you later, off air, I can tell you. But there's a company that wanted me to review something that I'm really excited about, but when they showed it to me, I wasn't feeling it. And I said, I can't. I mean, I would love to do it if it was in my mind how I think it should look and how it should be done. Um, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. So I literally cannot hold this in my hand and say it's great when I personally don't feel that it is.
So, let me ask you this: on average, from your experience, how long would it normally take in total to film, edit, upload, and promote a review? Like, for let's say a figure that's masterpiece scaled, how has your like process of production changed over the years and stuff like
Well,
that?
over the course of years, I've learned a lot of different things. I learned how to what I call self-edit in my mind. So there are actually a couple videos of mine that I have screwed up the editing, and there are blocks of the video that haven't been edited, so you can watch it and actually see how I do a video. What I'll do is I'll be like, so this is or whatever, and then I'll stop talking. I'll hold this as still as I possibly can, think about what I want to say, and then continue so that it's a simple cut right there. Typically, I always say this, that if it looks easy, then I did my job because it's not all that easy.
Exactly.
Well, it's not hard, but it is time consuming. Anybody can learn how to do it.
So,
So
yeah, that's good.
you're looking at, on average, probably about, like I said, I mean, that's a masterpiece figure. So an average video is probably going to take me about 6, 7 hours
Okay.
or so from the editing process. So however long the video took me to shoot, if it's a 30-minute video, it took me 30 minutes to do that. So yeah, 6 to 7 hours,
That's good.
kind of
And
on
I only
average.
ask, yeah, I only ask because I want folks to know, when they see a simple video, I want them to see how much time goes behind the scenes into making that, to bring that to them, because
Yeah.
it's easy to, browse through the gallery of videos you have, but then you don't know how much time each one took, so it kind of creates a level of awareness for the
Yeah.
people. So given that you have been doing this for so long, and the nature of the content has remained as primarily figure reviews, have you ever came to the point of wanting to do something different apart from reviews? And do you foresee any change of content in the future, or are you going to remain focused on reviewing for now?
Um, I've been asked a lot of times to do like stop motions and stuff. I'm like, I don't have the time to do that. The amount of work that I've seen some that stop motion. I mean, that's another one talking about how long something takes to do a stop motion. You know, could take months to do a 5 minute video of something. Where you're moving it frame by frame. I don't really. I've never honestly thought of doing anything else with my channel. I mean, there's there's a few things that I'm like, oh, that would be kind of cool. I would probably just say that I'm an old dog and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So
You know what?
I guess just go along with it.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, um, you're experienced, you're a veteran, you're seasoned
Uh,
in your
uh,
craft, so stick with it.
yeah, we'll call it season. That's what we'll call it.
Now you have actually said that one of your favorite Transformers continuities is Beast Wars. Um, how old were you when you were introduced to Beast Wars, and what are your hopes for a potential Beast Wars related future live action film? If you remember, I
Oh,
know.
I don't. That came out. They came out in like 90 in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
So I would have been like uh maybe nah, I don't even know if it was high school. Maybe I was like maybe 15. So if they're able to actually incorporate that into a live action film, providing it's not Michael Bay that does it. Which, I mean, no shade towards Michael Bay. I mean, I've said this before. Michael Bay created a whole new generation of Transformer fans. So very grateful for him. He is the reason why we got Transformers Prime. So there's a lot of yeah, there it is. You know, I mean that wouldn't have happened if those live action movies weren't successful. I would be curious to see how they could make Beast Wars work in modern day. That would be really, I don't know how I would do it. So I don't know how they'll do it type of thing. So it's a big, and that's the big rumor going around that the next movie is going to be a Beast Wars movie. Transformers 7 is a Beast Wars movie. Um,
So would you say that with the knowledge we know now, are you hopeful, or do you feel like this is probably some dangerous territory that they're going into with doing this in a modern era?
I think that it is a tricky one to do. It's not that it can't be done. It's not that it can't work. But it's one where, you know, the Michael Bay movies, the live action movies, they don't fire on all cylinders. There's a few cylinders that fire that make you kind of like it still. I mean, Revenge of the Fallen is probably widely regarded as one of the worst of all the Transformer movies. But there are still some elements about that I really liked.
I understand. I understand. I
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it some time. I'm gonna give it a chance, but
As you should.
it is tricky. I mean, I definitely can see that. Now,
You haven't even watched the Beast Wars show.
okay,
Come back to me when you watch the rest of the Beast Wars show.
you know what? I'm gonna take that lick. I'm gonna take that lick because you're the guest tonight.
There you go. There you go.
We're gonna shift gears a little bit, and I want to ask you about something. You know, one of the topics that have taken center stage in the recent weeks, and it's the issue of Transformers figure reviewers acquiring new figures early before the masses through a process that would involve the stealing of disposed figure from Hasbro factories. It's a controversial subject that sort of tugs at the morality of a lot of fans. My question is, what kind of example do you think this would set for the community, and should reviewers of influence contribute to something like this?
That's a very good question. Full disclosure, I was one of the very first people to do this.
Yeah,
Uh,
you were, and
if
that's why I want to ask you.
I think I am. I mean, a lot of us were doing it around the same time, but I think I just got lucky and was the first. Like, if you go back and look, mine is probably the first one of Transformers animated, Lockdown and Prowl. Those are the first reviews of those figures on YouTube, and if I'm not mistaken, they're the first ones that have shown up. That was the first time Transformers got that. Now, that's not to say that hadn't happened before in other toy universes. It's a very I can't condone it because I've done it myself. So there is a moral ambiguity to it, in the fact that I always rationalized it in my mind is that these were factory sample rejects. They were taken from the Chinese or the Chinese workers would take them out of the garbage bin. They would throw them up on eBay. A lot of us would see it. We would buy them. Those figures would run $200-300. There were some that even went up to like $500. People were buying these things back then, and people thought it was crazy. This is what I was talking about earlier when you talk about the competition of things. The long and short of it is, as much fun as it is, doing YouTube videos also makes you money. And you always say that the money is the root of all evil. And the more views that you get on a video, the more money you will make on that video. So when you see, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus that's doing it now, there are a couple that are very prominent that do it, and they are making money hand over fist right now with it. I know, because I was in that boat as well. And it's hard to pull yourself away from that. And you will make excuses for it, like, it was garbage. It was picked out of a garbage can.
We know though, that even though it's trash, it's not yours and it was not legitimately acquired. So do you think this is something that reviewers should be doing? I mean, there are people that look towards these reviewers not only just for the videos they make, but for example. So, is that something that they should care about? Is that something of significance? I mean, it's.
I think the best way to, if you have a problem with a reviewer that does that, the best way that you can fight that is not watch their video. Now, that doesn't really mean much when it's a drop in the bucket. You got one person that's going to watch it, not going to watch it, but you're going to have 50,000 other people that are going to watch it because they want to see what Galvatron looks like.
So why not address it at the source? I'm just wondering what your take is on it. I know that you're one that has done it before, so you're looking from the inside out. What is your outlook on that? I mean,
like I said, I'm going to tell you right now, if I say it's not right to do, then I'm being a hypocrite, right? Because I've done it myself. I can't say that I won't ever not do it again. If the opportunity came around where I could get one early, I probably would still get it. Mostly because I have a slightly more loose moral belief that they were thrown away. And from that standpoint, if I'm taking something out of the garbage, I mean, you could use the example that if I had a pizza for dinner and I didn't want to eat the burnt pieces, so I threw them in the dumpster, and the homeless person came by and he took the pizza out and he ate them. He didn't pay for that pizza.
But there's a difference.
I didn't want the pizza. I threw it away.
Right. Go ahead.
Where are you going? Where are you going with it?
There is a difference though. If the pizza is never been used and is created to be sold by a major corporation versus a random guy.
However, this was created to be sold, but there was an error on it. So it would never be. This particular figure would never be sold.
Mm-hmm.
So it's thrown in the trash. I feel like no one's really right and no one's really wrong in this. It's what you personally believe. And I think that you could make a stand and not watch their content. And I think morally that would make you feel better as a person to say that I don't support that person's actions.
Here's where the reason why I bring it up. Because, in that scenario, yeah, we could, just not watch the video. If people don't support it, just don't watch it, right? This is where I think it starts a conversation for creators. Because regardless of how it's interpreted by creators, it's unfair to someone who is acquiring the figures through a legitimate and honest process for the sake of growing their channel, and it overshadows that effort because someone went through an illegitimate process through private connections to take something that was not supposed to be theirs for the sake of gaining that popularity and rapid growth that the people that legitimately deserve it should be getting. So it's part of the.
I might not be, I'll be totally honest, I might not be a good person to ask that question to, because my popularity started in 2009, 2 years after I started doing videos, because I did buy early figures, or those stolen Chinese figures. So you're absolutely right. And this is where, again, the competition element comes into play, where I figured in order for me to stay relevant and get people to actually want to watch my stuff, I have to do that. And if I don't do that, then they're going to go to someone else that does do that, which then indirectly hurts me.
And I don't want this to be as if I'm challenging you.
No, not at all, not at all.
I just want it to be because you have a little bit more of an insight on how that whole thing works. You know the ins and outs of that, and I just wanted to get someone who has done it, their perspective. I see you have your guest has arrived.
I have a visitor. Hello, Pepper. There's Pepper, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I might be a bad person to ask on it because I have benefited from that system.
So I guess the only solution you're saying, if you can't beat them, then join them.
You're not wrong. I do look at it a little bit differently in the fact that I do view it as garbage, things that are garbage. I mean, if it was, I'll tell you, I would have a. What's that?
That's fair. I mean, if it's not, I suppose if it's not something that they were selling or that they would ever be on the shelves at all, if it's trash. Right. Then,
well, that's what I was going to say. Like if I was offered a completely packaged version of a toy, that I would have a whole lot more of a problem with, because that is a final product that was going to go to a store and be put on a shelf.
I see.
That I would have a little bit more of an issue with. The ones that I feel that we're just going to get tossed in the garbage, recycled, whatever the case may be, that's one that Hasbro would consider a loss no matter what, because they're just going to throw it away.
I see.
So
I got you. And you know what? That's why I wanted to ask. That's why I wanted you to explain it.
It's a great question.
It's
a great question.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that look at it without really knowing any of what you just said are going to say they're stealing and freak out, or a lot of them may not even know. So it's I just wanted to surface that, like unpack it for a second, and it actually kind of lessens the blow from what I see. It kind of, it's not like they're going into the store and pulling it out of there, or and then selling it offhand. Right. It's something that the factory themselves discarded.
Yeah, it's would you do it if it was offered to you?
Would I do it?
Yeah. If I came up to you right now and said, Alfonso, I got my hands on the new Transformers masterpiece, Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime.
Oh. You're turning the tables. This is what you're doing.
It's tough, right? I'm not trying to spoil things, but if somebody came up to you with the super serum formula that Steve Rogers took, would you take it? It centers your moral compass.
It does. And it almost forces you to readjust it to an extent. I certainly thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. And is there anything else you have to say to people?
Just really appreciate, I mean, you and I have talked many other times. I really appreciate you wanting to do this with me. It means a lot to me. And I hope people enjoyed it and have fun with it. And I'm just thrilled and honored to be here. So thank you, sir.
Very, very much. Thank you very much. Well, guys, Optibotimus, follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and obviously subscribe to him on YouTube. The man himself. Thank you so much for being here, sir. You have a
Thank
good
you.
one. Till all in one, buddy.